Ladies and gentlemen, sometimes, the deepest wounds are not made by strangers, but by those who live under the same roof. This is a story about a little girl named Emily, whose heart was as pure as morning dew and whose dreams sparkled like the stars she loved to watch through her dusty attic window. Emily's mother had passed away when she was just 7. Her father, a successful businessman, was shattered by the loss. Unable to bear the pain, he threw himself into his work, traveling across countries and building empires, leaving his little girl in the care of a woman he believed could bring warmth and love back into their home. But that woman, her new stepmother, Victoria, had a heart as cold as stone. Victoria was beautiful on the outside, elegant, poised, and charming, but inside, she was filled with jealousy. She despised the love that Emily's father once had for his late wife and saw Emily as the living reminder of that love. At first, she pretended to be kind. But soon, the masks began to fall. Meals grew smaller. Smiles faded. Emily's world turned gray. The once lively mansion echoed with silence. The kitchen, where Emily used to bake cookies with her mother, now smelled of neglect. Her toys were locked away, her laughter forbidden, and her innocence punished. "Food is for those who earn it," Victoria would sneer, tossing Emily a crust of bread. The servants, too afraid to disobey, turned their eyes away. Night after night, Emily would lie awake on her thin mattress, her stomach aching and her spirit trembling. Yet, in her dreams, she would whisper to herself, "Daddy will come back for me." He promised. But promises fade when the world forgets to keep them. Her father called less and less, his voice distant, his love wrapped in meetings and boardrooms. And while he believed his daughter was being cared for, the truth was that she was fading away, one meal, one tear, one lonely day at a time. Months turned into years. Emily, now 11, had grown pale and fragile. Her stepmother made her scrub floors, wash clothes, and polish silver until her fingers bled. The mansion, once a home of joy, became a house of shadows. Victoria's own daughter, Chloe, lived like a princess, pretty dresses, warm meals, and soft lullabies. But Emily was treated as less than a servant. She wasn't allowed to go to school anymore. "You don't need an education," Victoria said coldly. "You're not destined for anything grand." So, Emily learned from old books she found in the attic, books her mother once read to her. She learned about courage, kindness, and faith. She learned that love, though hidden, never dies. Every morning, she would stand by the window and whisper to the horizon, "Please, Daddy, come home." But Victoria had other plans. She told everyone that Emily had gone to a boarding school far away. She forged letters, signed in the father's name, and sent fake updates to keep him unaware. And while the world believed Emily was living well, she was living in hunger and fear. One winter night, as snow fell gently outside, Victoria invited guests over for a lavish dinner. The aroma of roasted meat and baked pies filled the house. Emily could only watch from the kitchen door, her mouth watering, her stomach rumbling. She tried to sneak a small piece of bread, but Victoria caught her. "You ungrateful rat," she shouted, slapping the plate from Emily's hands. "You think you deserve this food?" Tears streamed down Emily's cheeks as she whispered, "Please, I'm just hungry." "Then starve," Victoria hissed. "It's what your kind deserves." That night, Emily curled up under her thin blanket, trembling. Her body was weak, but her heart refused to surrender. She prayed again. For her father, for mercy, for hope. And somewhere far away, her father did feel something. A tug in his heart, a whisper of worry. He couldn't explain it, but for the first time in years, he felt compelled to go. It was a stormy evening when Mr. Anderson's private jet landed. The rain poured like tears from the sky. His business partners urged him to rest, but something inside him said, "Go home now." When he arrived at the mansion, the lights were dim, and the atmosphere felt wrong. Victoria greeted him with a smile too wide, her perfume masking the stench of guilt. "Darling, what a surprise," she exclaimed, pretending joy. "We weren't expecting you." "Where's Emily?" he asked immediately. "She's at school, remember?" Victoria stammered. "She's doing wonderfully. You should be proud." But as he looked around, he noticed things. Dust on the photo frames, silence in the halls, and a missing warmth he couldn't ignore. Something felt off. Later that night, As he walked the corridors, he heard a faint cough coming from the attic. A small, weak sound, almost ghostly. He followed it. When he opened the attic door, the sight froze his heart. There, in the corner, sat a frail little girl, wrapped in an old blanket. Her hair was tangled, her cheeks sunken, her eyes hollow yet familiar. "Emily," he whispered in disbelief. Her eyes widened. For a moment, she thought it was a dream. "Daddy." He rushed to her, dropping to his knees. "My God, what happened to you?" She sobbed into his arms. "I knew you'd come. I waited." He carried her downstairs, his face pale with rage and heartbreak. Victoria tried to speak. "It's not what it looks like." "Enough," he roared. His voice shook the very walls. "You lied to me. You starved my daughter." The truth poured out like thunder. The servants, emboldened by his fury, confessed everything: the hunger, the cruelty, the beatings. Victoria's mask shattered. "You always loved her more than me," she screamed, her voice twisting with hatred. He looked at her with eyes full of disgust. "Because she has a heart. Something you never had." He called the authorities that night. Victoria was arrested for abuse and fraud. Her daughter, Chloe, was taken into protective custody, far away from her poisonous mother. Emily was taken to the hospital. The doctors said she was malnourished and weak, but her spirit was astonishingly strong. Her father stayed by her bedside, day and night. He couldn't forgive himself for not seeing sooner, for not protecting her. "Daddy," she whispered once, holding his hand, "it's okay. You came back." Tears rolled down his face as he said, "I'll never leave you again." "That's a promise I'll keep." Weeks passed, and slowly, Emily recovered. Her cheeks regained color, her laughter returned, and her eyes sparkled once more. Her father transformed too. He realized that wealth meant nothing if love was missing from home. He sold one of his companies and started a charity to help abused children, calling it the Emily Foundation. Their mansion was filled once again with warmth, books, and the aroma of fresh cookies, just as it had been when Emily's mother was alive. One sunny morning, Emily stood in the garden, feeling the wind on her face. She looked up to the sky and whispered, "Thank you, Mom. I'm safe now." Her father joined her, wrapping an arm around her shoulders. "Do you know something, Daddy?" she said softly. "When you were gone, I kept believing that one day you'd come back. That love would win.